Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much, Brother Anubis, for that raid. Bright and early. Perfect timing. You could not have timed that better. As the timer was coming down to 0. Thank you so much. Of course, I was faster than you on the shout. I was sitting right here. I am not distracted yet. I appreciate you, though, Mystics. Thank you for modding out. And Anubis, thank you so much for that raid, bringing 7 of your community in here. I appreciate you so much. I hope your D&D game was good. I hope you had a solid stream today. Damn, that started off like nice and quick. I like it. So it looks like Hell's Corp is unable to join us today due to some tech issues on his end. So it's going to be just the smaller party of 3 for right now, along with an overlay that no longer matches. So that's going to be great. Yeah, I am aware, but I do not have the ability to go into Photoshop and change that for right now. So you are going to just be Ottenbow for the next little bit of this session, and I'm just going to accept it. It is what it is. It's not prepped to have 3 people today. Just drag in a little thing over it. Like, either way, you're Ottenbow for today. We're just gonna deal with it. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming in. I appreciate you. So, quick recap from last week. We decided we were going to follow our former compatriot, Ottenbow, into the forest where he had seemingly been captured by a mysterious Piper-type individual, our young Gregory deciding to turn into a wolf and bound straight into that campsite, completely, unaccompanied by anybody whatsoever. Though quickly realizing... minor. Yeah, unaccompanied minor. Quickly realizing he was out of his depth, decided to flee back into the forest and hide, waiting for his party to, or at least the muscle in his party, to approach. During this time, you took a minute to scout out the camp, picked out where a couple individuals were, though missing an archer or 2 in the trees yourself, still managing to remain unattacked or unmolested while you were there. Upon your party arriving, chaos, as it usually does, ensued as the shiny golden Stanislav atop his spectral steed and Mantuka the Minotaur came barging into the hidden encampment, weapons swinging, heads being lopped off, and a fairly violent combat ensued in which a number of the party were brought fairly close to unconsciousness, though you do manage to come out victorious, freeing the prisoners that had seemingly been held there, who were referred to as test subjects. Not really sure what that might mean. Even rescuing one of your compatriots by the name of Mr. Maker, who introduced himself as an artificer and an inventor extraordinaire, attempting to kind of grow his business into something a little more feasible. From there, you set the people free, decided it would perhaps be a good idea to escort them back to the local, the nearest town, which is Southwatch, where you came from, and return these people, including the children there, to their rightful homes. And that is where we left off the session, with the party having just left the forest and made their way to the road. So that is where we'll pick up today. The 3 of you, along with Mr. Maker, his robotic companion, ever present with his sarcasm, quickly in tow, along with the about, I believe it was 13 or 14 people that you had rescued from the camp. You're all making your way towards the south winding road that makes its way to Southwatch. What would the party like to do at this time? I think we lost Stanislav on camera too, but that's okay.
Sorry, yeah, just give me like 2 minutes for that.
No worries.
Gregory is just gonna go, trying his best, especially to children, making sure that anyone who's hurt or wounded is just getting, I'm gonna go ahead and say I cast Goodberry.
Oh, we're giving out some good berries. Those are the best.
Gonna cast Goodberry. So you all see Gregory, he goes and he opens the box and just, come on, little guy, this one's shy. This one gets really, really shy. And you just see popping out there, he's like a little flower, like a little sakura flower blossom, but he's got little eyes, his little face, and he's just little cherries just on his, and he just drops them.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
He's just a real sweet little guy, and he barely comes out of the box. And I cast Goodberry and give him out.
Greg berries, I love it.
Greg berries!
So as you pass out these good berries, and some of the kids take them, immediately having their stomachs filled without the dramatic effect of actually eating a mouthful of food after being sat on more or less starvation for a week, they seem to recover, and you see a little color return to their faces. a little bit of spring get back into their step. The kids now realizing that they are out of the predicament they currently found themselves in. Kind of quick to move on. Not necessarily move on per se, but quick to make light of the situation and kind of enjoy like the sight of the spectral horse, the shiny golden man, the giant minotaur, and the odd toy box that keeps giving them gifts. And it seems like at very least the children have taken to you, as you're not all that far in age from these individuals yourself. Like, you're maybe like the oldest one in the group is only probably like 4 or 5 years you're younger, so
I'm sad.
Yeah,
Baby Gregory.
I am the leader of the children.
Oh, switches. Are we able to salvage any type of carts or anything for making travel a little faster from the encampment with the bard or the piper or whatnot?
As far as you could tell, there were no carts, there were no horses.
So the refugees we've had are like just walking?
Oh yeah, you're all in a trail essentially walking. I believe you put a couple of the children on the war horse. I could be wrong.
I think I fit like 3
had a
kids
couple on his as well. Yeah.
On mine, yeah.
Memory serves, there was about 6 to 8 kids, I think, and the rest were all adults.
I'll give my horse little things. Just
Okay.
grab like the closest thing and kind of plop it on.
Yeah, he kind of screams as you pick him up without any warning, and you kind of just plop a few kids onto the horse. They seem to be having quite a bit of fun. They start like kind of tossing its mane, and you can tell the horse is kind of like a little annoyed, but the little people now on its back. This is like a workhorse. It's not really used to being a child's plaything, but it seems to acclimate fairly well to these kids kind of bothering it. As you would.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile,
over on Ikesh, the kids are having a great time because the horse is actually responding to everything they say. Like, obviously not like actually replying, but like he'll like do a circle and stuff if they ask him to and stuff. So.
You see that cloud? It looks like a bunny.
He like looks to you as if waiting for some kind of response.
It does kind of look like a bunny. I agree.
And he just kind of like goes back to whatever was distracting him on the horse. At this point, you have a group of, like, all together, you're numbering about, I think, 17 people walking down this road. Based on your travels here, it's probably about a day and a half worth of steady travel. I'd say probably a good 10 to 12 hours. So like a travel day and a half to get to where you're heading. So at some point, you will need to look out for a place to camp unless you're traveling through the night, which you imagine probably be pretty difficult for the kids. However,
and at some point we'll need to stop for lunch.
That is entirely up to you. Whatever the party would like to do at this point. You guys are on the open road. If you guys have anything you'd like to discuss, anything you'd like to do, now is the time. If not, we can kind of skip the journey ahead a little bit. Up to you.
I mean, at some point we should take a short rest, probably, because just in case.
Yeah, because I believe you fought through the night, and you're essentially coming to morning at this point. So you're really only about 3 hours away from your last long rest. Maybe 4.
With 1 spell left.
With 1 spell left. You definitely blew the load a little early on that one, but it happens.
Oh, yeah? Hardcore. All of the load.
Oh, the whole thing. Yeah, the entire thing.
The Minotaur load.
Oh, God. This is too much. I'm already over it. It's fine. So if you want to have a short rest, sit down for some breakfast or some lunch. Like, it's probably only, like, in terms of the 24-hour time, it's like maybe 7 or 8 a.m. at this point.
Oh, Magtuka would love to just sit down for an hour. Just an hour little sit.
It's specifically an hour, right? Yeah, okay.
Just an hour, no dicking around, like an hour and then hit the road.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Sounds
kids
like a
keep
plan.
talking. The kids keep talking to me about wanting to go around the forest and like do an adventure. So like that would probably shut them up for a bit. Maybe let's do this. They keep saying it. They won't stop.
Can we go on the adventure now?
I swear to God.
We've been on this horse for hours.
Well,
These
maybe, but
young-
first we have to eat lunch.
These young, they're
Yeah.
like beacons of death. They won't stop talking. and everything knows where we are.
Mm-hmm.
One of the
real
adults in the group kind of leans over and just like, welcome to being a parent. And you kind of find it like, it's open road, it's open field, it's easy enough to find a place to sit down. That's not even going to be a roll for that. You guys can essentially pop a squat wherever you feel like. So if you want to get a short rest in, now is the time to do it. You can all hit the short rest button on your D&D Beyonds. I do need someone to roll me a D100 so we can see what kind of weather we're dealing with for today.
I'll do it. I have a physical one in front of me.
Do it.
53.
Okay.
Sorry,
This
no,
isn't-
35. 35.
Sure. Yeah, so the sky is still kind of gray, a little bit of overcast from the rain and just thunder the day before. It was a pretty big storm, and you're kind of seeing the tail ends of that. It's just like a light mist in the air. Not exactly raining, but not exactly dry either. You gather probably by about midday most of that will have cleared up, making way for some sun, but as it stands now, it's a little gloomy, little fog, kind of rolling over the fields. Pretty morning. It's nice and cool. Other than that, the weather is calm, and the smell of the fresh fields kind of blowing in the wind around you. Very peaceful. As you finish your short rest, and the kids kind of are regathered, it takes a minute to kind of rein them all in as they kind of like took a minute to just break away and have a little fun for themselves in the fields. Some of the parents, and you can now see like some of these people are the parents of these kids. Only a couple, but it seems like when their kid went missing, they might have been the ones who went looking initially and found themselves in the same situation. Anyway, they do manage to corral the children back into the group, and together the 17 of you make your way back to the road and continue on your way to Southwatch. Traveling, I'd say, just for the sake of brevity here.
The coconuts are going.
That was actually pretty good. For the sake of brevity, we'll just skip through right until the evening's rest. So, whoever wants to try and find a suitable place to camp for the evening, go ahead and roll me a survival check, as it is kind of, at this point, beginning to reach the early hours of the evening, and the sun is beginning to kind of crest and fall below the western horizon.
Gregory just kind of like tries his best. He falls over a few times, running ahead, but he gets ahead and starts scooping it out.
Words, yeah.
Hey!
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Cinnamon and booba flatat.
All right. It doesn't take you too long with a roll like that. With a 26, like I said, it's fairly open road. There's lots of fields. There is a number of sheds and kind of like small structures.
We have tents now.
And you have tents now. So it's really a simple matter of finding a flat piece of land that's not going to get you too soaked as the rains may fall. But as the evening comes and darkness falls across the continent of Fellerin, you all pitch the tents, kind of divide up into your certain social groups. Mr. Maker kind of sitting a little on the outside, socializing with his robotic companion a little more than he is with the group. You can kind of hear him going over a couple sales pitches, planning how he might market his next product to this group of fucking kidnapping survivors. And it's like a couple of the ideas are pretty out there. He hasn't honed in the general talk at this point, but you can see he's workshopping it and kind of practicing his sales pitch. If there's anything anyone would like to do around the fire, now's the time. Other than that, I'm going to need people to take a watch, if that's what you want to do. That is your choice.
Are there any, like, deer or anything like that around here?
I mean, it's open field with a bunch of forest surrounding it, and it's probably pretty safe to assume you could find some game if you were looking for it.
Yeah, because
Magic
I
horse.
would imagine all these people are hungry.
Uh,
I'm gonna go.
They look hungry, but you can also see that Gregory has been keeping them pretty well fed with the good berries throughout the duration of your journey.
Right.
And while it's like the good berry essentially fills your stomach, like it's doing the trick. People could eat, like they're not going to say no to a fresh meal, but no one appears to be on the brink of starvation at this point.
Actually, you know what? Maybe instead of like trying to go out of my way to hunt a deer, maybe I'll just see if I can toss some javelins at some rabbits. I'm sure they're a bit more abundant.
All right, first off, you're gonna need to roll me a survival check to go do some tracking and try to find these things, and then trying to javelin a rabbit. Okay.
You can do it.
That's big dick. I like that.
That's
10 survival.
it's kind of hard for you to track down any like really viable prey. You do see a couple like smaller, more like kind of like some field rats that kind of make their way around, or like mice, I guess, not rats. A couple squirrels and shit making their way around the forest, and like you do see a couple rabbits, but as you're kind of preparing and kind of stalking up to them, attempting to like get to a spot where you can throw your javelin, you're just scaring them away. Their ears quickly perk up and they off into the fields around you. There is some game though, like if you actively are searching, but with that survival, you're not going to find a whole lot.
That's fine. I'll dejectedly make my way back to the camp.
Like small game. If you want to kill some small game, that's absolutely feasible.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You make your way back to the camp where everyone's kind of settled in. Some of the kids are already like just out, despite the positive kind of energy and vibes in the air. A lot of those kids been through a lot over the last little bit, so they're pretty quick to find rest now that they have a safe way to do so. And as the adults kind of all sit around the fire, and the evening begins winding down as some of them just begin going off to their beds. A couple look like they're ready to stay up and take watch with you guys, if that's what you want. But what's the protocol?
Y'all look for Gregory for a watch, and you just look over and you see a bunch, like 10 kids, all sleeping on top of a black bear.
Oh, wholesome. I need art of that. Yeah, so you see Gregory just as a giant furry black bear, and you know it's only gonna last a few hours. Like that will run out eventually, and he's just gonna
I'm gonna be under a fucking pile of children.
Yeah,
I'm gonna die.
Just straight up dog pile. Yeah. It's a nice wholesome moment. The bear's kind of got his head just resting on his hands, kind of sleeping along.
I'm taking last watch this time because we're getting woken up this time. Baby Gregory.
Right.
Okay, so who's first watch? Stanny?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead and roll me a perception check. As the sun has finally fallen, the light leaves the sky, and the rest of you all begin to take your evening's rest. Stanislav, you sit alone around the small campfire that you've made for yourself. Everyone else around you sleeping, peaceful.
7 for me and 10 for Akash. Shit. Not very good.
Most of the night passes
guys.
Without incident. You do hear the occasional critter running through the fields. Other than that, it's quite peaceful. It's a very quiet evening. You spend the 4 hours or so you're on watch, kind of just lightly discussing things with your spectral horse. Just kind of, chatting about like where you are, how you feeling, how everyone's doing, just little check-ins, small talk, if you will. He's not the best at holding down a whole conversation, but he is at least able to respond to you mentally.
Okay. His intelligence is 6.
Yeah,
So
he's got the intelligence of like an elementary school child. Yeah, very low, like grade 1 maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's pretty reasonable. At that point, who is on second watch? I believe Gregory.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably see Gregory revert from bear form into human form.
Yeah, you're level 8, right?
I'm a level 4 druid though, so it's only 2 hours.
2 hours, yeah. Okay, so about 2 hours into your watch, you notice like the pile immediately shrink down to a much smaller size. And you see Gregory kind of just underneath it. You got about 2 hours, yeah. No, like
yeah.
You did about I'd say because there's 3 of you doing it, usually it'd be about 3 to 4 hours apiece. We kind of blur the lines of a long rest on that one.
I'll as that happens, I'll reach into the pile of kids and pull him out and help him reposition.
Thank you. That
Some
was.
of the kids don't even move; they're out.
Yep.
Yeah. I used to be able to sleep like that too, back in the day.
All right, go back to sleep. I'll wake you up when it's your watch. I'm waking you up. Hey, it's your watch.
Oh, okay. That was like what, 20 minutes I slept? Oh shit.
Easily another 2 hours, third little buddy.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. And I just go over, sit by the fire, and I just start to, like, you see, I open the toy box, and I just start to, like, look like I'm doing inventory, and I'm just, like, pulling out just a little bit of things, like, sword, 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 sword.
And after the events of last night, I'm going to have Akash stay up the whole night.
Oh yeah? Okay. That is very doable. It is not a horse that needs sleep. Being that it's from this, you know, the fucking it's a celestial pony. I mean, he sleeps when he wants to, but like if you specifically tell him to stay up all night, he will. So, Gregory and Dikesh, go ahead and roll me a perception check for the night, please.
Basically, I'll just tell him to wake me up if there's any weird shit going on.
Well, fairly low tonight.
I'm sticking with I'm really looking at inventory.
8?
Yep.
Yeah, so once again, the night passes without any issue whatsoever. As the night gets a little cooler here than you were expecting, perhaps. It might be a little due to the elevation and the just general dampness in the air this time of year. But, once again, the watch passes without issue. We come to Mantuka.
Oh, I have to wake up. Oh.
Yeah, you get to, as the end of your watch comes to you.
Attempt to wake up.
Yeah, you slowly come to the realization that you are now responsible for waking the Minotaur.
That's why I rolled so low, actually. It wasn't inventory. The whole time I was just counting one sword, because I was just like, I'm going to have to wake up that giant, massive monster of a man. Okay. Clap the toy box shut, just start slapping myself a few times, get up.
Get a little hyped.
Okay. And I run over to Mantuka, and before I can realize I'm running, I just go like slap dab right into his back.
I hear you. I hear you. Gosh, praise Mogus, do I fucking hear you?
Mr. Minister,
Stop. Not morning person. Go to bed. My watch.
Okay.
And then I'll just kind of like get up and like, you know, do like the old man yoga. Like, just get
same.
all your
Every
the
morning,
blood
dude.
flowing.
Yeah, I feel it.
When Mantuka tells Gregory to go to bed, he just literally hits prone on the floor and just goes.
Oh. As Mantuka kind of gets up and gives the big stretch, you hear the muscles just like kind of straining. You hear the back kind of cracking as he straightens himself. Mantuka, it is your watch. Go ahead and roll me a perception to see what's going on today.
Let's see if one of us can roll solid.
12.
Free cat,
For
okay.
Akash.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Gotta start somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
18.
Okay, so I'm putting you guys on an honor system, okay? You're not gonna read what's making. Oh, there we go. Okay. That's just for me. Y'all ignore that.
I'm not even looking.
There you
I'm
go,
not
buddy. You don't hear anything. You don't hear or see anything throughout the night.
I don't have Rolls 20 open, so perfect.
There you go. You definitely don't hear or see anything throughout the night. You're kind of spending your watch. At a couple points, you kind of feel like maybe there's something watching you, but you can't quite. You rolled pretty high. Like, you don't pick out exactly what it is, but there's definitely something that's like making you feel a little off for the time being, but you can't really place it, like a finger on it. You just maybe that like sense of foreboding. Maybe something's watching. That feeling kind of
Does it seem
fades.
like natural?
I've got this
You don't
feeling.
No.
You don't know. It's
Somebody's
just you're alone in the
watching
dark.
me.
You thought you might have heard something. Well, Mantuka is not the type to get afraid. It's definitely got you being, got you on your toes.
How'd the horse do with his perception?
Really shitty. Horse
12.
doesn't notice a damn thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. To be fair,
It's just
whatever
like
I
making
rolled
horse
a
thoughts.
26. So like, the horse ain't gonna see that.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So, yeah, the rest of the night passes without any further incident. And the rest of the group, the children, are up bright and early, as they usually are. And you can kind of feel some of the parents, like, actually you feel the non-parents of the group kind of groaning as their sleep is interrupted by the sound of screaming children. And they kind of quickly realize what's kind of going on around them and kind of snap back to reality a bit. Some of
I
them-
know,
like
they're
gravity.
very annoying. They don't do anything, they just want things.
Yeah, seems about right. And the guy just kind of starts packing up a bag. A couple people kind of start looking around for some food, but don't actually have any on their persons.
Seeing that, I'm gonna start handing out parts of some of my rations. Probably use like 2 of them.
All right.
And I'm
Kinda
gonna
share the
say
rest of
Lots. Yeah.
2 casts of good berry, 16 good berries.
Yep, that is just enough. One person is not getting a good berry.
And then we'll supplement that also with the rations. It'll be great.
Yeah, that person
Yeah,
will get
you
extra parts of
Yes.
the rations.
Okay.
Yep.
So you pass all the food around, everyone eagerly eating their fill as much as they can. A single berry and some rations, which is apparently enough to fill the stomach. But yeah, as you pack up the camp, get the tents all rolled
Cool.
up.
I will be
and,
the person that doesn't get a good berry.
Fair enough.
Because I have lots of rations.
Fair enough. I need another weather check.
No.
It is another morning. It is a new day. Someone roll me a D100, please.
Weather check. Who's doing it? Oh,
The
called
Eldris.
it. All right.
Oh no, I'm nose gaming for it. I touched my nose
there.
first. I ain't doing it.
Boom. What? Crap.
Oh,
12.
okay.
Yeah.
It's a nice, clear, sunny morning. As you wake up, you see the sun begin to come over the eastern horizon and slowly begin rising into the sky. There's not a cloud to be seen. There's still a little bit of lingering fog from the dampness the day before. That is kind of dissipating as the sun begins to rise, and it kind of just hangs lowly over the fields, kind of weaving in between the stalks of the corn, not really going any higher than that. Even that begins to fade after about 20-30 minutes to an hour or so. And as the group...
Real quick, I'm not even on Chrome, and I can see the rolls, everyone's rolls on D&D Beyond, without having Roll20 open.
That makes
That's
sense. That makes sense, yeah.
Good shit. Okay. Anyway,
So yeah, so you get all the children reined back in, you get the group back together, and continue on your road, knowing Southwatch is only a little way away. In fact, from where you are, looking to the south, you kind of see the tips of the Incendus mountain range sticking out over the kind of horizon that disappears beyond the ocean there. Just a slight indicator of the distance that you have left to go, knowing that Southwatch is fairly close to the top of those mountains, or the northern border of those mountains. Doesn't take long. The morning passes without much incident. Some of the kids start to get a little antsy. They're not used to walking for 8 to 12 hours over the course of a couple days. However, as it reaches about the lunch hour, I'd say probably around noon, the sun is almost at its highest in the sky. You see the northern walls of Southwatch, decidedly shorter or decidedly less tall than the southern walls that guard against the border against the Magus Imperium. And as you approach, the gates stand open. The usual 2 guards standing at either side, kind of eye you quizzically as you approach.
as it's like 200 feet to the gate, I'm gonna say to the kids, "Last one to the gate is the dirty rotten scoundrel."
Yeah, all the kids just take off, like running and screaming, and like you see that
I'm
that one kid in the back who's just not for group activities, kind of standing there with his arm crossed, like, you're all stupid.
I'm gonna pick that kid up and start running.
As you run past, you grab. He's like, ah! And he's just like just flailing his arms and legs in the air. You see his mother, who was part of the group, kind of like reach out after you to stop, and then realizing that like you're not doing anything like harmful.
And I'm gonna,
steps
I'm gonna
away.
beat these other kids so that this kid cannot be last.
Okay. So as you're like,
I'm
as
on
these
ass.
kids are running, you see the little legs taking them as fast as they go towards the gate. And as the guards are standing there, just see this horde of like 6 to 8 children sprinting at them. They kind of like stare a little quizzically. And then from over the hilltop, you just see a massive golden horned Stanislav with one kid under his arm, just booking it full speed towards the gate. At this point, the guards are like on high alert. Like, what is this individual running from? And why does he have 8 children with him? What are these people running from? And like they kind of ready their spears and they get into a stance and they're prepared to deal with some shit now. And as you kind of just sprint towards them, you see like a little bit of fear and confusion on their faces, but they're holding their ground.
I'm just gonna, as I see them, I'm just gonna be like, it's a race, it's okay, don't worry, it's just a bunch of kids I saved.
Kind of leans over. What did he say? It's a race? Yeah, I don't know. Something about a race. Right, that's weird. Okay. And he kind of just like shrugs and puts his spear back, and like the kids just like run past. They don't even stop to acknowledge the guards. They just file into the gate. You obviously beating them there with your 40 feet of movement per turn or whatever.
Yeah, sprinting every turn.
Yeah, you're a big bulky. Yeah, no, like you leave those kids in the dust. Like you have time to have a full conversation with the guards and like explain what is happening before the rest of the kids are even close to this race. And as you kind of like step inside the gate and put the kid down, who does appear to be the oldest of them, probably about 10 or 11 years old, he just kind of looks at you. He's like, "Really?"
I mean, you're not a dirty, rotten scoundrel, are you?
He kind of has a bit of an overbite. He's like biting into his lip. Mm-hmm.
Good job, buddy. I'm gonna pat him on the back, and
every time you pat him, he's like, he's cringing. He's not enjoying it. He's like, whatever.
Stanislav is loving bringing out the angst.
Yeah, he's definitely like just on the cusp of fucking teenage years. He's starting to get a little attitude to him. But yeah, no, all in all, the kids appeared to have a great time. Not so much this one. And as the rest of your group and the parents begin to approach, so the guards actually recognize a couple of them as citizens of this town. They're fairly well known, and they kind of like begin ushering them in and rushing them like, "Oh, we thought you'd vanished. How'd you find your way back?" And like the kind of de facto leader that you met the day before kind of steps forward as well. These individuals came in and saved the day, it seems. This is pretty messy. We'll need to talk to the guard captain about it, if you don't mind. I think he needs to be made aware. The guard's like, "Oh, right away. We'll see if we can wake him up for you there." And he just turns and kind of goes inside, leaving the one guard at the post to watch the door. He's like, "So you saved them, you say?"
I mean, yeah, they were in cages, and we took care of the people that were there and let them out.
They're in cages. What the fuck were they doing in cages?
They called them test subjects.
They weren't here. Now they're here. Thank you.
Well,
Not from my problem.
Yeah, thank you, but I mean, why are people keeping others in cages? It's not all right.
Is this a lost and found?
No.
Could it be?
Well, they were lost, and I guess you found them, so sure. Why not?
Surprise! Your problem.
All right. I got it. And he just, like, very taken aback by this giant hulking minotaur who just essentially told him, like, "Hey, this is your fucking problem now. Have fun with it." So the group begin to file off. Certain individuals begin heading towards their own homes and families. A lot of the kids, as soon as they're within the walls of the town, are just like, pew, gone. Like, you're not seeing them again anytime soon. Like, they're all running to their families. The parents that were there with their kids quickly, like, get their kids together and, like, begin leading them to their homes. And the guy who was kind of talking to you, he's like, if you don't mind maybe visiting the guard captain with me, I feel like you guys might have a bit more perspective on what was going on. We didn't see much apart from the time we spent in the cages.
I mean, yeah, sure.
You said something about a reward too.
Stanislav definitely breaks up a little bit at that.
All right. So we're going to see the guard captain. You are allowed access, and as you kind of make your way in,
Whenever y'all are going, you look behind, and Gregory's like staying behind. He's staring just at a family that's reunited and all hugging, and he's just holding the box.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Oh shit, okay, what's that coming back?"
Yeah, Gregory kind of gets lost in a moment for a second there, as he sees these families begin to reunite, and the two of you are led through the northern gate up here, down into this very somewhat thin section that this town, like, divides this town down the middle. As you remember, it is very much a fortification town, and essentially a border defense garrison. So it is designed very much to be, like, impenetrable for the most part. So you're quickly let in, and right away there's a gate on your left with just a large portcullis made of what appears to be just wrought iron, or solid steel. And it is currently at about halfling. It's easily walk throughable, but you can tell it's ready to be dropped at a moment's notice, if need be. You're kind of led over. There is like a de facto moat that you can even see on the map there, but it's not so much filled with water as it's kind of filled with, based on the smell, you would probably assume the town's sewage. Among other things, it's not a pleasant smell, but it is a formidable defense. And as you kind of let in, you see a number of soldiers and troops training in the courtyard. This does appear to be the garrison as much as it appears to be the final defense that this city has. Not a whole lot going on apart from that. As you're let in, there's a couple guards at the main entrance standing there, and as you approach, they cross their spears. What's your business? And the other guy kind of steps forward. We're here to see the guard captain.
I'm Mantuka, human savior and bringer of people back to village.
Yes, you know, the missing individuals. Well, these folks, these friendly folks, saved us and brought us back, and we were wondering if we could perhaps arrange a meeting. It is somewhat urgent. The guard's just kind of like, well, all right, let me see if I can go get him. He turns, again, leaving one guard at the door, kind of blocking your way, and goes inside. He's in there for probably a good 5-10 minutes before he comes back out, and he's just like, kind of just stands. He's not in a good mood today. You can go right in, just... He looks at Mantuka. Mind your tongue a little bit. Manners. Manners and all. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm a people person.
Clearly.
And then I
Yes,
kind
you
of
are,
like
Mantuka.
stride in.
Yeah.
Mantuka, you are neither of those things. You are neither a people or a person.
Come on,
He's
baby.
definitely a
Gregory.
person. That
That's
is
insensitive.
deeply offensive.
That is
You're being
insensitive. Of course, Mantuk is a person.
He is a monster and an event in a humanoid form. He is nature come to life.
I am
Did
not
you
processing
eat
what you just
some,
said.
like
I'm,
mushrooms or something
walking.
like that?
I kind of, what's the line between fear and respect? What do you call that? Fear-spect? Refear?
I think so. That sounds right to me.
Refear
Yeah,
him.
that
I
seems-
refear him.
Yeah, no, that's fair. The other guy, like the villager, just straight up at this point, kind of just follows the guard inside. And you're led in the northern door. There's 2 doors on the garrison that you can see on the map there. And you're led in the northern one, which is decidedly a little nicer than the other. The other is plain wood. This one has a little bit more like iron decorations on it, a little more fit and finish to it. And you make your way in. It is a well-built building, mostly out of stone, with what appears to be a thatch roof. All in all, it's a very simple structure, basic, nothing all that fancy about it, but you can tell it is well made, it is sturdy, and it is well kept in the sense that the soldiers who are trained and manned here are expected to keep things at a certain level of tidiness, more or less. Pretty strict regimen you can pick on over here in terms of like the rigidity of the military service. But there's nothing all that fancy about it as you're led into what appears to be a meeting room. Very simple wooden table in the center with a number of chairs kind of placed around it. One kind of at the center position, but nothing really denoting any seat of power per se. It's not necessarily a round table, but there's not like one chair that is decidedly fancier than the other ones. Again, very basic furniture and no flash to it whatsoever. From what you've seen of this kingdom on a whole, they're more practicality over flashiness, and that is reflected in very much everything that they have here. And as you kind of gestured to the table by the guard, he'll be in a minute. He just heads back outside, leaving the now 5 of you, I guess, if we're including Mr. Maker in this, along with the villager, who is still being quite silent at this point. Kind of just standing there. Yeah, it's almost like he's not here. The rest of you are offered a seat. Mantuka, As per usual, it looks like none of these seats are necessarily made for someone of your size and weight. You could try if you wanted, but you generally get the
Just
idea. It's probably best to
Just gonna
stay.
lean in the back wall, trying to be, like 80s cool.
Arms crossed. Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So you're just kind of vibing back there. Does anyone else take a seat? You do see the villager immediately, like, grabs a spot. You all sit down. Chairs are comfortable, but again, there's no cushion on them. They're not meant to be like chairs you sit in for long periods of time. This is like a brief meeting area. And
okay,
as
my fine ass is giving me plenty of padding.
yeah, you got them thick cheeks, dude. You're good. You're sitting there waiting for about 5 minutes when a door at the other end of the chamber opens, and you see standing there before you with just a no weapons currently on him except for a small dagger at the waist. He's not in his full like suit of armor. He appears to be wearing fairly basic clothing. You do see a small pin of what appears to be just 2 crossed swords with almost a wreath around it, almost like a Caesar crown, but not quite kind of look to it, which you gather denotes his position of power within the military here. He's a very old man, fairly scarred face. You can tell he's someone who has seen a number of battles. Short gray hair, a very well trimmed gray goatee, just a little bit of black hair still like left in there. He hasn't completely grayed out entirely. Muscular.
Upon his entrance, Stanislav definitely stands up.
Yep. He just looks at you.
Same.
It's okay. It's still early. So, what's going on? Why are you coming in this early? It's actually not early, it's lunch. I take that back.
He's a heavy drinker.
He's a very heavy drinker. Now, you can smell the booze on him. No booze on the breath whatsoever. He kind of sits down. Still early for business.
Well, we were out on, I believe just some, like, mundane business type of stuff, and we more or less stumbled upon a bunch of people in cages and some people holding them hostages.
Well, someone said something about you returning some folks, saving some people. I figured it'd been related. Did you know there was a job out for that? We were actively looking for people? Or did you accidentally fall into this whole thing? Mantuka, do you actually do that in the background?
No, Mantuka behave.
Oh, I'm not against it. That's hilarious. He's
I
just,
didn't even see what he did.
it was just like, yeah, we've been trying to find some folks to go look for him for a while, but last few people we sent didn't come back. We'd honestly more or less given up hope at this point.
Didn't Auten talk to this guy and
No.
tell us about this job?
Auten found there was like a posting outside the tavern about it, but you guys once again never bothered to investigate it further.
Well, did he even tell us about that? I don't remember.
I don't know. I've got no clue.
I don't remember it.
Roll for it.
Sure, go ahead. Let's roll for it. What'd you roll?
Natural one. He didn't tell me shit.
He didn't tell you shit. So yeah, you had no idea that there was actively a contract out asking someone to go look for these people.
Ba-da-boo-ba-da-boo.
Beep.
Oops.
We did more or less stumble upon it, I guess. One of our compatriots here, point to Gregory, I guess in the middle of his night watch was seduced by the sound of some sort of flute, and then he ran towards it, and we ended up figuring out he was gone in the morning, and chased after him, and ended up finding the fucking camp where all the bullshit was going down. That's more or less that. We killed everybody there and saved all the people from the cages.
Everyone that we killed was already kind of dead. Just
Yeah.
Sir?
They were already kind of dead. What do you mean by that?
We didn't. We just got it. Magic was at play.
Especially this one dude who was playing some weird flute thingy and had glowy parts on his body. And when we killed him,
Right.
he kind of turned into like some sort of ghosty thing and disappeared.
Right.
It was really weird.
Did you keep anyone alive that we can maybe ask some questions to?
The children.
Did you get any
Metuka,
information?
keep the children.
No, we thank you,
Welcome.
Big Minotaur. We thank you for saving the children, but we do need information. Why were they here? What were they doing?
Well, I think you said something earlier, Gregory did, about that they were keeping these people as test subjects.
What were they testing them for?
We don't know.
Stanislav looks at the one person. Did you hear anything?
Well, no, not really. I do know that the couple of people who died while we were there, didn't stay dead long.
Right. This
You remember
Oh.
the,
moving dead thing.
there was a number of individuals guarding the camp.
Right.
Scrolling through stuff.
I got to be honest, keeping people alive in fights is not my strong point, and I didn't really think about it at the time because we had just woken up and lost a friend, sort of, so...
Most of them had red on them. I just couldn't stop.
Was that a bull joke?
Maybe.
Good one, big man. Well, seeing as there's no way to interrogate anyone or get any further information on this, I'm gonna need to, talk to each of the survivors separately, I suppose.
Whoa. We do have the second longest reigning survivor here. This strange
Yeah, you kind of
artificer,
look over to Mr. Maker, who's like, at this point, he's standing attentive. Kind of pops in, and he's, yes, I was there. I saw it all happen.
There you go. Metuka solves problems. Yay, humankind.
The general or the guardmaster kind of looks at him. So, what did you see? Well, you see, I was just walking down the road over there, and at a certain point I began to hear some music, and it led me into the forest where I was, promptly captured. He's very positive throughout the entire delivery of this. Like, you notice, just as a general character trait, this individual generally has a little bit of a sly grin on his face. Like, he's always trying to sell you something. He's a used car salesman, basically. Like, he's very used car salesman vibes. You don't even... Oh, not quite. He doesn't quite pass into sleazeball. He just always has a little bit of grin on his face. And then, next thing I knew, I woke up in a cage. I was surrounded by other people in cages, and, well, yeah. Spent about a week in there. That was great. I really enjoyed that. Didn't you? And you see the little, robotic companion that, kind of follows him around. He's like, oh, yes, I think it was just magnificent waiting on those undead fiends for a week and a half while you got your shit together. And he just kind of pats him on the head. He's like, yep. Sounds about right. The guard just looks at him. He's like, so did you see anything useful? Well, I didn't see much of anything, to be honest with you. A few zombies walking around, and anyone who died quickly came back as one. Beyond that, I can't tell you a whole lot about what was going on over there, because, well, we didn't see much. Alright, well, that's no use to me either. You don't know what they wanted to test you on, or what they were experimenting with. Nothing? Any of you? I got nothing for you, big man. And he just
Well, I
smiles.
mean, seems pretty obvious to me that they were, like, trying out turning people into undead people.
Well, I had gathered that much, but, I mean, why were they gathering so many people, is my question.
It's a good question.
One I would have liked answered. But, that being said, you did a good thing. Clearly, you saved a number of people.
That we did.
I suppose you're expecting some kind of reward?
Well, I mean, now that you mention it.
Let's just be saying, good behavior doesn't go unpunished. There's something for you.
Is that a threat?
Wait, what?
Don't forget threatening.
Hold on.
Super threatening.
Hold on. There was a reward for this, but seeing as you engaged in no active contract, it's hard for me to dip into the coffers for it. That being said, this is why you take the jobs. When jobs are offered, you don't fucking ignore them. I'm not gonna leave you with nothing. So, he kind of reaches down, slides open a drawer in the table, and brings out what appears to be 4 pins of a similar nature to his, though appear as opposed to a polished silver, look more like a very basic brass. Nothing all that fancy about him. A little, like, older, not as polished up, and he just slides the 4 of them across the table to the party.
What are these?
Well, what that means is you did us a favor. Mantuka, you bite it.
Just testing the
Yep.
testing the metal.
King, king. Yeah, it's solid. None of
Not
the
chocolate.
none of the it is not a chocolate medallion. Nope. Good try though, buddy. Good try. He hands you those. We don't have any extra money to give you. And this is always what we were offering. But what that means is that you've done a favor to, well, my town and the community as a whole. It's not really gonna get you any favors. It might get you in some places you might not have been able to get before.
Okay.
Such as?
Not sure. Get you an audience member with some of the higher ranking people in the kingdom, such as myself. It just basically shows that you're someone that can be trusted.
Mantuka's down. He grabs this thing and like blood he sees where it goes up officially, and then blood wings it onto his fucking chest, just straight in.
Yeah, just stab.
Fuck yeah.
Even the guard at that point, kind of like, ew. And like you can tell this is a man who's seen some shit. He's never seen someone just jab a pin into their chest for no reason.
Stanisab just looks with like a bit of like surprise, but mostly like, fuck yeah.
We can do that to your horse too.
No, it's okay. I appreciate it, big man. But I'm just gonna
Blood
walk
thirst.
it to his fine clothing.
Yeah,
It sort of matches my skin.
little. Yeah, it's shiny and metallic, just like you.
I put it on the strap of my toy box, like
Nice.
a Boy Scout badge.
I like it. So, like I said, they'll essentially shows you can be trusted and that you're someone of value to the crown. Now, if you choose to abuse the privileges that come with that, it can be taken away from you, so keep that in mind. But as it stands for now, you are, well, trusted.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it. I'm glad we could help.
That's really all I have to offer you at this point. Not a lot of money to go around in these parts, but
It's more than enough, really.
if you find yourself in somewhere like Highguard, that'll get you in a couple places. Definitely get you into the High District, no questions asked.
Sounds fancy. I've never been.
I've heard
should
about
go.
it. It sounds really
Yeah, so
amazing.
if anyone wants to, go ahead and roll me a history check. Just to see what you know about the region.
I can almost guarantee I would know nothing, even with a good one.
Yeah, you can roll for fun. Go ahead. I mean, your brother's, like,
Oh,
fairly
well,
well...
Yeah, true.
Okay. Hey, like, your brother taught
History?
you everything you
Sure.
know.
0. Let's see how this goes.
+0, okay.
I rolled a 2 for a 1.
Oh, 14. That's not so bad.
Okay.
I'm just an amazing bull.
Alright, so
17 for
we're gonna zip over to the world map over here. So you
Yeah, I
are
rolled
currently...
Rolled a 2 for a 1.
Awesome. That -1 will get you
Unnatural
every time,
one.
dude. I love it.
I rolled an unnatural one.
All right, so you're currently in the town of Southwatch. As you know, it is the southern border town of the Kingdom of Eldris, which stands at the border of the Magus Imperium down here, where our journey began. Highguard, however, is way up here on the map on the top left, on the western coast of Fellerin. And you would know that that is the capital of this particular kingdom. That is one of the bigger cities on the continent after Pillarstone, of course. It is kind of... it's not well known for, like, its arts and culture, per se. But there is an arena there. It is a very militaristic society, as opposed to, like, an artistic one, if that makes sense. It is a massive city that is divided into a number of districts, the outside of which is for farming, and generally the peasantry tend to live in that area. Then you have the lower districts, which include, I believe, the market, as well as kind of like the middle income families who can afford to live in a home within the walls of this city. Obviously, it is built upon just a high cliff overlooking the chaotic ocean. And then the high district is where obviously the keep is, some of the temples, some of the higher end stores, bathhouses, things like that. And that is definitely where like the upper echelons of society live, the wealthy, the elite, those types of people. So essentially what you've just been given at very least will get you access to there, no questions asked. Where normally like an adventuring party who comes to the gate is not going to be allowed entry willy-nilly, especially not with all their weapons intact. So take that for whatever you feel it to mean. That's what you got. Stanislav, you know nothing. Yeah, this is completely lost on you. But Gregory and Mantuka, you've spent enough time around the Kingdom of Eldris to at least know their cities at this point, too. You've been here for a little while. Gregory, you traveled through here. You would have heard about it. You didn't stop there, per se. Your road would have taken you through Riverguard and past Redwatch, through the forest and all that. But yeah, for the most part, it's just the capital. That is where the High Lord Jasper Moraine lives, where he rules and has ruled for about the last 80 to 90 years, I believe it is. I think it's like 86 to be specific. I have the dates all on a calendar somewhere, but I don't feel like pulling that out right now because it's buried in all my notes. Yeah, other than that, you've essentially just been given no questions asked access to some of the upper echelons of society here.
When they mention Highguard and like the Daggerwood Forest, you guys see once again Gregory kind of just nervously, and you hear it too, just clicky clacketing on the bone mask.
Yeah, the bone mask is ever present at Gregory's side, so you gather there's some kind of connection there. And Gregory, you remember too, like during the last encounter, you heard that wolf's howl, and that pegged you as very familiar. Might be something to look into later. The conversation kind of comes to an end. You gather this individual is not someone who likes spending inordinate amount of times over small talk. He gave your reward.
Does he do the like whelp, knee slap type of thing?
Yeah, kind of like almost like, well, I got some business to attend to. If there's anything else you need, any jobs you're looking for, I have my assistant here. And he kind of gestures to an individual who has now just kind of entered and is like waiting to escort you out. Also, seems this one is dressed in his full armor. You can tell he was just out on duty. Very nice plate armor with a fur trim around the neck. A little bit of a cape, not quite. It's almost like a half cape. Not something that would dangle all that far. And he kind of gestures to him and says, This is my right-hand man. If you have any work, he's around. Or if you're looking for work, he's around. Talk to him, not to me.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. Again.
Mantuka kind of feels like he's losing some of the machismo of the vibe of this group, so he just kind of grabs his hooves and starts like grinding them against the cobblestone or whatever the floor is made out of to make a noise.
Yeah, you start leaving some grooves in the stone. He's like, could you maybe not do that?
You continue staring and then just slowly stops.
Better.
All right. Well, thanks for your time. Stanislav is getting up. We appreciate this. It does mean a lot.
Yeah.
It means a lot to me. You brought my people back. It means even more you did it without having to be asked. Shows a lot of character.
I was once a man in the cage myself.
He looks at Gregory, who salutes and gives him like a very haphazard, like, two-finger. We don't really do that here. Okay, no worries. And at this point, the individual in plate armor is like, "All right, lads, if that's all you'd like to bother the guard master with, I'd like to have a word with you outside. If that's okay."
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure. And
Talk on the way to the bar.
Oh, we got another raid. Look at that. Damn, dude. Thank you for the raid, Stace. I appreciate you. Hope Fortnite was good. Mystics on the shout out before I could. Ha! You beat me to it. That's fair. I appreciate your raid. Thank you very much.
Definitely agree with you, man. To go on the way to the bar. Let's walk and talk.
Bar sounds good to me. All right. And this individual leads you out. This first off, the individual you just met. I noticed none of you guys really have a tendency of not introducing yourself to people, by the way. Either way, the guard master is a bit of a he's a bit of a stickler. Not the friendliest individual, but he knows his war, he knows his strategy, and he's kept us safe for a number of years. It's probably a good thing you've made your way into his good graces, let me tell you that much.
Oh,
Mantuka,
that's awesome.
Mantuka introduces himself, gets in trouble. Mantuka doesn't introduce himself, he gets in trouble. What does humankind want?
You just keep being you, Mantuka.
Never change, big man.
Also, I guess, yeah, my name is Stanislav. It's good to be here.
Oh, believe me, I already know who you are. My name is Captain Barrick.
Stanislav's confused by that.
Well, let's just say I'm familiar with one of your employers. Speaking of which, I believe he's waiting on you as well. And he begins leading you out of the town towards the house where you first accepted the contract with Mantuka in the group.
Is this the original house that I met up
Yep.
with the group?
Yeah, so you immediately recognize the road, and you see this small, kind of disheveled farmhouse that looks like it's not quite abandoned. There's a little light coming from what appears to be a fire inside, but is definitely run down, has not been really cared for in some time. But is a familiar place where the rest of you met. And as you're kind of approaching it, I work a little bit hand in hand with the individual who runs this particular operation. I believe the lot of you are familiar with Kagon, then? You would know that Kagon Lestrolo was the one who hired you.
Yep, he's who hired us. Wait, what did he hire us for again?
He was the one who hired you to go hire or follow the Imperium scouting party that made their way up here. He's the one who gave you the job initially that led you northward and introduced Mantuka to the group.
Right.
Yeah, I've been quite aware of y'all's going on about town since you got here. And to be honest with you, I've heard a little bit about your exploits down there in the Imperium as well. Let's just say people making that much trouble for our enemies don't go unnoticed.
Well, I'm glad I could help. It was interesting, but did have a lot of fun at some points.
Well, there's plenty more fun to be had, believe me.
Mantuka is a hero to all humans. It seems I must be their savior or something. Always saving them, not wanting them. They lose their young, it's awkward.
Sure, that's, you're not wrong. It is certainly awkward when it happens. It's not really pleasant for anyone involved. I have some other business to attend to.
Just kick him off the mountain.
My job was to bring you here. Be sure to say hello for
Thank
me.
you.
I'm gonna head to the pub. And he turns around and he very nonchalantly just begins walking. You can tell his duty for the day has ended at this point. And it looks like he's ready to go relax. But he does lead you to this house, and as you kind of open the door, you notice Kekon, the individual who hired you no more than, 3 or 4 nights ago, look up at you all, surprised, as he's kind of just sitting in the corner and looks like to be discussing something with a couple of the individuals you would have seen around last time you were here. He kind of looks at you. You're all back a little bit sooner than I thought you would.
Hello.
And you're, down a person, it seems.
Down a person, up a minotaur. It's all about perspective.
It's all about perspective. That's fair.
Yeah.
So how'd it go? Were you successful?
Well, not exactly. We got a little bit sidetracked.
You got
There were some,
sidetracked.
not on purpose, but there was a thing that happened, and we ended up having to rescue some people from cages and kill some undead things and whatnot.
Been a few problems with that around here lately. Doesn't surprise me.
Well, hopefully not anymore.
It seemed like there was some sort of like weird magic testing going on in the woods.
Well,
Yeah, kind of fucked up.
now it sounds like someone else's problem. Where do we stand on the job I hired you lot for? And where is the lippy one?
Well, kind of lost him in the woods.
You lost him. In the
In
woods.
the woods.
In the woods.
Are-
Yes, sir.
Wait, he's referring to Auden, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
The one who
Oh,
first signed the contract with him.
yeah, he decided to kind of go off and pursue something else, I guess, that was weighing heavily on him. Not really sure what it was all about, but yeah, no, he kind of just left.
Fair enough. I never knew his type to walk out of a contract. That being said, are we still on track? There's still a problem to be dealt with, and technically you all agreed to it.
Yeah, that's right.
No, we definitely still will hopefully deal with it. We just got behind a little bit.
You need to take a minute to rest, I understand. It was a hard couple days. I have some business of my own to attend south of the border, so I probably won't be around for a little while. You've already met my, not going to say inside man because we all work together, but you've already met my operative within the military then, yeah? He's the one who led you here.
Oh, yeah, I guess we have.
Report to him. He'll report to me. I had hoped you would all be successful before I had to leave, but I guess that wasn't the case. Shit happens.
There was kids. We had to do it.
Not blaming you. Wait, are you referring to the kids who've been missing?
Yeah, there was like 10 of them. I look over at Stan and Montuka, and there was like 10, right? 12. It was a lot.
Something like that, and a few of their parents as well, I guess, that had gone looking.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
glad to hear that's all worked out, actually. That was starting to be a bit of an issue for us. That being said, the matter at hand, have you made any progress tracking down the party I sent you looking for?
Well, there was this one.
Everyone's like,
Stanislav starts like twiddling his thumbs, awkwardly looking down, avoiding eye contact.
We thought maybe we saw something, maybe, but then, we got sidetracked by the other thing.
yeah,
Flute
well,
sounds and such.
you gotta do what you gotta do. Just, make sure to finish the job before you come back.
All right, absolutely.
Makes sense.
I've got to get ready to leave. I've got got people waiting.
You wanna go to the bar with Mantuka before you leave? Couple
don't-
bevies for the road?
Sorry, I don't have time. If that's what you'd like to do, by all means, take the evening to rest and go out at full strength tomorrow. But my business cannot wait, unfortunately.
How about one Minotaur bomb before you go?
Roll me a persuasion check, please.
Alright.
Minotaur bomb.
For Minotaur bombs, dude.
Stanislav looks at you, just like very intrigued, mildly nervous, more
Nope.
intrigued.
Nope.
Aw.
Wait. I don't know if you're on the fence a little bit. I don't-
Respectfully, I don't drink on the job. And as of... He looks... I don't know why I looked at a watch. Watches don't exist. He looks outside and sees where the sun is. As about 2 hours ago, I'm running late. So... Sorry. Have to catch you on that another time. Tell you what. You come back, successful, with the person alive as requested so I can interrogate them. Then I'll have a drink with you, big man.
So many rules. Okay.
What did you expect when you became a mercenary, man?
To kill everything. It was in the
I mean,
pamphlet.
we really need to stop putting those pamphlets out. Like I've asked them to stop. They won't. Okay, they keep trying to get people to join the military. Like, I want you. It's not working well.
It said, I want you to kill everything. And I'm okay, I like to kill everything.
I know what it says. I've seen them. I didn't print
And you're
them.
like, stop killing everything.
I want one alive, big man.
This is your one.
My one.
We
That's
can
all I'm
do that.
asking for.
Just the one.
Are you sure?
If your mother-in-law does something bad, this is your one. For this other person, that's not your family.
I don't. Whatever. Okay. I got work to go deal with. Okay. There's shit to do. You guys have a good night. I'm gonna go tend to the stuff I need to deal with. Have yourself a good one.
Your word is your bond. That was your one.
He stands.
Stanislav is like walking out, pauses for a second, he's and
He
keeps
just
walking.
pauses. As like this individual gets up to leave past you, like he's not even waiting for you guys to leave. And as he's stepping out the door, he's like, and he reaches inside his clothes, and you see like he wears what appears to be fairly light armor, like some studded leather under like some black clothes, so it looks like he's more capable of stealthing. At night, you gather if he's going to the Imperium, he's probably gonna change his wardrobe to something less sun attractive because it's hot as balls there. He kind of just reaches into his pocket and pulls out what appears to be a somewhat rusted key, fairly old. He holds it out to whichever one of you wants to take it.
Gregory, you want to hold on to that?
Sure. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Well, we lock the place when we're away. That'll get you in.
Oh.
You're
Oh.
going to come back to town. You need a place to rest. Consider this your, yours.
Wow.
Well, ours, but you can use it.
Thank you so much. And I put it in the box. Thank you. I'll make sure that. Yeah. Thank you. Wow.
I mean, you need a place to sleep.
That- very
Pub will gouge you for everything you have. I gotta go. And he just quickly like turns on his heel and out the door. Barely gives you a second to catch him, and then disappears from sight. And the three of you are left standing in what appears to be your own fairly rundown base of operations. And that's where we're gonna take. There you go, bachelor. That's where we're gonna take our first break for today. We're about halfway in at this point. So we'll be back in about 10 minutes, folks. I appreciate you all coming in. Thank you, Brother Anubis, for the raid. Thank you, Stace, for the raid. I appreciate all of you. Y'all the best. We'll be back in 10. Please do stick around, and we will see you when we get back. See you guys. And we're back. What's up, everyone? Hey, the Mantuka update already took hold. Yes! Overlays fixed. How's that for DM skills right in the middle of the fucking break? Anyway, so
Attaboy.
quickly going back over it, you guys made your way back to Southwatch, had a very quick meeting with Guardmaster Dersk, and then quickly met his subordinate Guard Captain Barrick, where you were brought back to the house where you first agreed to sign the contract with the K-Con Lestrolo, who had essentially hired you to track, spy on, and essentially take out a scout party from a rival kingdom that has repeatedly caused issues. Unfortunately, you got a little sidetracked from that, barring some unfortunate rolls by your party over the last couple sessions, but ended up saving some people and were essentially given free access to the higher parts of society here. So the four of you, including Mr. Maker, now with this pin, it is just again a pair of very simple crossed swords with what appears to be almost like Roman style wreath, like Caesar would wear as a crown, kind of around it. It's very plain, basic brass, but you guys do appear now to at very least have some station within the military organization here, which, as you can gather based on your history checks before, you would know the Kingdom of Eldris is almost as militarily based as the Imperium, just because they share a border. They've been at war so many goddamn times that this kingdom essentially revamped their entire political structure to be a war-based society. everything comes down to the military. There are no mayors. There are no, like, any civic positions of power except for those within the military. The guard masters being essentially the mayors, and the guard captains equating to what would be sheriffs in the Old West kind of deal. So, heavy military presence everywhere you go, and you guys have seemingly found yourself into agreement where you're acting as almost covert members of the military yourselves.
Moving on
Nice.
up. To the
Moving up. You were given a key
Manchuka
to this
hero.
house and told you essentially have free reign of the property to use as you see fit while you're working for these individuals. So you now have yourself what appears to be the group's first real base of operations, somewhere you can actually hang your hat up on your off time, which is, I'd say at very least, Stanislav, the gravity of that
The
is
first.
not lost on you.
No,
being-
it's a first for me.
You've never owned a home. You and your brother traveled the lengths of the Ember Steppe across the desert for your
Yeah.
entire life. Your only home was a tent.
Yeah,
Or
we were
whatever
nomad.
whatever convoy you traveled with, and being given the key to your own space and told you guys have free reign of this. It's effectively yours. Yeah, that hits, and part of you kind of wishes your brother was here to share that moment, I'd say.
Aw.
Oh yeah.
And you kind of maybe spend a minute, and your brain kind of just wanders to what Ilsevere might be doing at this point in time with his position within the Hushroot tribe. He did say he would
Taking
try to
names
touch
and
base.
kicking ass.
Kicking names and taking ass. Anyway, so the four of you with Mr. Maker are left standing alone inside this building. All other individuals have closed out. It's a little drafty. The thatch roof is kind of patchy. There's a couple holes in it. You can see little bits of daylight streaming through as the dust kind of lingers in the air in this place. Could use a good tidy up, but you are alone in this structure now for the first time.
Well, should we go out and try and find them now? What time is it? Where are we?
Just after lunch, I'd say probably around 1 o'clock.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I don't know, that feels like a morning activity. Should we go maybe see the sights? You see Gregory gets kind of excited for a second.
I actually did want to go back and talk to the church people too. I mean, could spend the rest of the day here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right, the church people. The church people.
The church people.
I mean, you guys don't have to come. It's fine.
It's
I
a
just,
temple.
I had a couple of questions for him.
I like going to other religions. Praise Mogus. I like to listen to the other fake ones.
Very forward way of thinking. I respect it.
Oh no.
Okay.
Yeah, that I could come too. I don't mind. They're just very the figures of authority tend to make me sweaty.
Yeah. So we're gonna
Maybe
spend some
Gregory,
time-
that's an inside thought.
inside thought. What?
I kind of let that intrusive thought win. Yeah, you're right.
Okay. So we're gonna spend the evening in Southwatch then, and set out in the morning. You said you wanted to visit the temple, which you would remember is the Temple of Torm, and the kind of lower end district of the town on the right side of the walls there. Is there anything else you guys would like to do in between, or are we heading straight there?
I'd like the tavern at the end of the festivities.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
never
definitely.
been-
We don't even have to agree on that. That's a given. Don't worry about that.
Of course. Yeah, so as you make your way there, you kind of head down south through this kind of thin area, making your way through the left gate towards the blacksmith shop, which you remember as George's Forges, and then passing the Last Watch Inn, which is... don't you judge. The Last Watch Inn, which is seemingly the only tavern in town, fairly well-made but older establishment that is still maintained and kept quite nice by the owner and her two sons, one of whom is seemingly a bit of a lazy layabout, as evidenced by your last visit. As you continue down that road through the kind of... they're nice, like, they're well-made homes. They're just very basic kind of single-family dwellings, you gather. And you eventually find your way back to the northern edge of town, at the northern wall, where you enter the Temple of Torn, which is kind of an open-air temple with like, just columns holding up each corner, and inside a number of small statues, in the center of which is a visual representation of Torn, the god of courage and self-sacrifice, who in this particular instance is just depicted as a very battle-hardened warrior, at this point seemingly standing, just defiantly standing his ground. You enter, it's very quiet, as it usually is. There's not a number of people. You do see a couple members of the military who are kind of doing their patrols, take a moment to stop in, say what appears to be a small prayer or some kind of words at the representation of Torm, and then immediately turn and head back on your way. You gather a lot of the military, especially in this town in particular, who are the first defense against invasion from the south, tend to be followers of Torm. As you kind of make your way in, the headmistress, or the high priestess, I apologize, Dimnia, who you were introduced to before when you came in here to have the curse that affected your ability to speak cured, as well as your connection to a seemingly haunted sword. There's Helsk.
We love you, Hellscorp.
We do, buddy. I'm glad you got the issues worked out. Welcome in. So as you enter, she immediately recognizes you, and she's a little surprised to see you. She had maybe expected to see you sooner, at which point, like, you would kind of just vanish, and she was a little worried. She just kind of smiles as you enter. It's good to see you again, my golden friend. What can I do for you today?
It's good to be back. Well, I remember last time I was here, we had talked about some, I think it was undead things that you had mentioned?
Yes, so there has been a number of issues surrounding that in recent times. Most recently, it appears there have been reports of dead rising from the grave, all over the kingdom.
Well, we had a small encounter with a bit of that. There was this...
Kind of gets a little more rigid, a little less friendly at this point, a little more serious. She realizes the tone of this conversation is taking a turn. You said you saw something. What? Where?
Not just saw, we fought and, I guess you'd say, re-killed some people.
Yeah, that's what you say.
Yeah. We were on our way to the Daggerwood Forest to track down some Imperium people.
Okay.
He pauses, like, remembering not to swear in a church.
And maybe remembering that is a clandestine operation. Probably something Stanislav wouldn't remember anyway.
But we ended up having one of our friends get distracted, or like, I guess, enchanted or something by this like flute sound or music, and we ended up having to go and save him, and we encountered a group of what I guess zombie people that were keeping a bunch of other people in cages.
Okay.
There were a couple of not zombie people too, but
right. That worries
50-50
me.
zombie people.
That worries me a little bit. Where was this happening exactly? And she's like, again, at this point, she's quite I'm not gonna say upset because that's not the word, but she's like visibly concerned, I guess you could say, or interested. We'll say she has a vested interest in the story. Where did this happen? You said they were keeping people in cages. Why?
well, we didn't exactly get all of the details before we departed them all, but they said they were keeping them for test subjects.
Test subject? People are experimenting?
Seems like it. I mean, the people there that survived said that they would see people die and then get brought back to life.
Okay, well that is definitely of some concern, though not the issue I'd hoped to discuss with you. Most recently, we've had reports of things, strange things, happening around the settlement of Maiden's Rest. Anyone who wants to can roll me a history check on that one, if you so please. If you want.
0.
Yoink.
Oh, it's
Do you wanna-
cocked between 20 and 14.
Do you want a group check?
It's cagged.
12. -1, 11.
11 as well.
That's triple 11s, guys. That's kind of weird.
What the?
That's never. You guys just broke the Matrix. What the fuck? Okay, so above a 10,
Make a wish.
You will know that the settlement of Maiden's Rest is the southernmost settlement in the Kingdom of Eldris. If you guys can see the map I pulled up now, Maiden's Rest is to the southeast of Southwatch, on that little point of land over there. And originally it was built as a lighthouse and small guard post that could warn of any incoming fleets from either the Spark Peak Archipelago or some of the southern ports of the Magus Imperium. So Maiden's Rest was long since abandoned a number of years ago. You would know that as well. You wouldn't know why. But essentially, it is now a ghost town with the ruins of a lighthouse standing on it. And she kind of explains, while it has been unmanned for some time, they have, occasionally we do send scouting parties there to make sure there's no bandits trying to gain a foothold or establish a small settlement there, or any kind of piracy or anything like that going on. Most recently, the scouting party that went came back less a member and reported that there had been some kind of occurrence. The bodies that had been interred there seemingly risen up from their graves and now hold a grisly watch of the ghost town. They considered sending forces out to deal with it, but our forces are currently tied up in other places, and unfortunately the church or the temple here, we don't have anyone we can send out to deal with it ourselves. We're a fairly small faith now, and those soldiers or warriors that do hold the faith are usually quickly conscripted into the military. So, the hope was we would have someone go check that out. Either deal with the problem or report back to us what it may be. While in and of themselves they seem to not be wandering, we have sent people watch, and we've had no word that this has spread anywhere beyond the confines of that town, but could be a problem at some point, and it is the temple's responsibility to deal with these kind of things when the military cannot. We don't like to.
Mantuka will be your holy avenger. I will avenge for your faith.
Oh.
I will not.
Are you a follower
it.
as well? Okay.
I won't practice it, but I will do my deed and avenge your fate. And at some point, I will become leader. Maybe.
That is wait, leader of the temple?
Just general leader. Let's not make this weird. Just general leader.
Well, it is very selfless of you to offer. You may be a follower after all. You may just not know it yet. That being said, if it's something you're interested in, she sees you like look up to your deity and be like, "No, it's cool, dude."
Talking to Mogus, I'm like, no.
May I ask, who is it you follow? With whom do you keep faith?
Listen, Mantuka, no kiss and tell. Okay? I will be your holy avenger, and when I do good and I come back and you guys are really proud of me, I will tell you who I kiss and don't tell. Mantuka sound better in his head.
Very strange way to put it. Yeah, she's heard you mention Mogus a couple times, but
damn it, cat in a bag.
Your personal experience has been that very little, if anyone on the mainland has any knowledge of your faith. being that it is A, ancient, B, confined to a small island full of minotaurs who worship a minotaur deity. It just doesn't happen to make its way.
Beach city.
Yeah, great beach city. It's very tropical. It's very nice. You guys drink little coconuts with little umbrellas in it. It's a whole minotaur party. Yeah.
That
a
our
party.
young serve us because they're not weak.
If you would be willing to look into this issue for us, we don't have much, but it would be appreciated, and we can do what we can to muster some small reward for your effort.
Mantuka like turns around and is like, okay, I kind of jumped the gun, guys. Is this good?
I mean, it sounds like it needs to happen regardless of anything. And, I mean, a reward, that's always nice.
We can figure something out on that front. Being that we've already helped one of yours, it would be appreciated if you would offer us some assistance as well.
It feels like it needs to happen.
And killing undead is kind of my specialty, so
I figured
I think I'll have a little bit of fun while I'm at it.
perhaps on your journeys you might
Yes.
find your faith as well, my friend.
Do I get a pin for this job too? Last job gave me pin.
Oh,
He,
she
like,
looks
points
at
to,
it.
like, his
She's
blood wings.
Yeah, there's like a trickle of blood coming out from under the pin where you stabbed it
deal,
into your
man, too.
torso. But it's kind of like dry at this point, so there's just like a little bit of crusty blood on there. Oh,
I
metal.
immediately like digging in more just so like fresh blood so it looks more badass.
just don't get any on the. Oh, she looks on the
Says that
floor.
was
There's a
impressive.
couple drips of blood kind of drip off the pack onto the floor. Okay, well, I will have someone clean that up post haste.
Bull nipple.
Yeah, straight up bull nipples in the temple. Yeah, no, like it's all cod pieces and bull nipples at this point. That's the title of the episode, guys. We did it. Oh God. Oh. Well, we appreciate the help, and we will do what we can to gather some small reward for your efforts.
Thank you.
It's not exactly on a schedule, but I feel like the sooner the situation is dealt with and mitigated, the better.
Probably. It'll take us a little bit, but hopefully not too long.
Right.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
We're and not trying to sound too cocky, but we're in a bit of high demand right now, which feels good. But
Well, you did mention something.
seems like there's a
about
lot of shit going on.
things. There's always a lot of shit going on. It never ends.
Oh, I
Yeah.
swear. Sorry for swearing.
We've gone over this. You're allowed to swear in the Temple of Torm. This is a temple of the god of self-sacrifice and courage, not the, not
I know.
the god of watching your language. You don't know.
Okay.
Most of us
You're really
here
bad
were
at this
warriors
thing.
once. We all know how it is. Don't worry.
Thanks.
Be better,
Good
Light
man.
Bright.
What was that?
Be
It
better,
was
Light Bright.
Endearing
Light
nickname.
Bright. That is a light bright. That's a good one. I like that. It suits you. Well, if that's all, I appreciate you coming, and I appreciate whatever help you were able to offer us at this time. Do you know where Maiden's Rest is?
No. Do you have a very nice map for us?
I don't. You could probably find one at one of the shops in town here, but if you leave the town on the north road and then take the western path, follow it along the coast, you'll see it. Hard to miss.
Do you have a squire you want to test his might or her might
No,
to lead us? No.
no.
Going to
Oh, I-
add anything to this other than
I thought you were just gonna fight a priest.
It's alright, Mantuka. We can figure it out.
Okay.
If I can ask around the temple, and you the lot of you look around and you look at the people who work this temple. I just off the bat, none of them is under the age of 50. Not a single one. Everyone appears to be either former veterans. There's a couple individuals who have lost limbs in their fights over the years who now man this temple as, well, it's their faith to do so. But you gather they're here because they're no longer capable of wielding a sword themselves. And if they could, they wouldn't be in a temple worshipping.
Just give me 2 dudes with 2 legs.
That's fucked up, dude.
Not asking for much.
That's fucked up. I'll ask around, but I don't think anyone's going to volunteer.
Well, it's fine. We can go to the general store. I'm sure we can find the map.
Just follow the west road. It's not hard. There's only 3 of them. West, north, and east.
Stanislav is like holding up the 2
I
L's.
thought you meant there was
That-
3 wests. I got really confused, but I get it.
All right. Well, we'll get back to you with what we find.
Okay, well, let me know when you can, or let me know when you return safely. And, do be careful. It seems these forces were quite formidable and down a fairly skilled warrior fairly quickly. Seems like they're above your usual rank and file of the undead.
Well, so wait, no, I'm not. The first part I am, but not the undead part.
That's fair.
If that makes sense.
Yep.
Okay, thanks. We'll be seeing you.
She just kind of goes back to what she was doing.
Bye.
One of the people at the temple, I don't want to say workers, one of the faithful come over with a little cloth and wipe Mantuka's blood off the marble floor, which like gives it a good little scrub, and it mostly comes off. And as you kind of walk, occasionally you just hear the dripping sound of like a single drop of blood hitting the ground as Mantuka makes his way out, and this guy essentially follows and like wipes up every single one. You gather it's not the first time they've had a warrior in here who's been bleeding, but like this was probably the first time that one has done it on purpose to themselves.
Assert dominance, you know?
Yep, that's fair enough. Okay, so finishing your business at the temple and more or less agreeing to go check out this particular issue. What would you like to do with the rest of your evening? You've got the rest of the afternoon ahead of you, as well as the evening that comes. Probably only about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Are we just right outside the temple right now?
Yeah, you just step out the temple, kind of go down the 5 steps that make their way out. Step into the open air yet again. Still sunny skies, not a cloud to be seen.
I just like I'm right stiff in the church. I said a couple things where I get right stiff, but I'm outside. I'm a little more loosey goosey, and I'm like, that was fun. She's really nice. I remember her being nice.
Kind of like it there.
Yeah, she was cool. I guess not as scary as I thought. Kind of like you, Mantuka. I feel like you and I are starting to get a little less, you know, terrified of you.
I don't. You're better when you're a creature.
I was just about to talk to you about that. Did you want to maybe, fight me? Fight me right now.
Yes, Mantuka really does.
Okay.
Oh shit! We're getting some PvP. I love it. Okay.
I
Fucking on!
Let's do it, dude. I'm down for this. Like, Mr. Maker's like, oh, this should be interesting.
I feel like you are like exactly. I'm kind of an animal,
I
kind
just
of a man.
punch. I just want to punch baby Gregory right in the face because he's like, "Do you want to fight?" I'm like, "Yes." And like, there's
Are you actually got?
There's just a switch. There's just a switch.
Okay.
Stanislav takes out his sword and draws a circle around you.
I'm gonna say roll an attack, Mantuka, since
Are you just gonna
he said I just want to punch Gregory in the face.
Well, he's like, "Do you want to fight?" I'm like, "Yes." I'm so excited that I just.
Yeah, so make me an attack roll, please. Unarmed attack, which is just gonna be strength and proficiency, I think.
15.
All right, so you do 1 plus your strength as damage.
It was a 15 to hit.
15 to
So
hit,
that's
yeah.
fine.
It
Yeah.
does not hit. I have 17 with my shield that you just see. It just goes. Doof.
Oh, Gregory manages to lift the shield up as your fist hits it. You just hear, bing, and Gregory's feet slide back a good 5 feet in the gravel of the street, and you realize you guys are now fighting each other in the middle of town. Who's gonna go next? I guess at this point, roll initiative.
Yeah.
Both of you. Go ahead, see what happens.
Boom.
I'm not even gonna put the tracker out. We're just gonna remember who starts. It's
Oh,
not
no.
Gregory. It's not fucking Gregory, dude.
Don't worry, I got
fine.
advantage.
Oh, you do have advantage too. That's the best part.
Oh,
That's
shit.
really shitty initiative rolls.
That's
Okay, so,
real shitty.
so Mantuka, as you punch and Gregory just gets the shield up. Gregory, as the fist leaves your shield, you do see the indent of like at least 2 knuckles in your shield, like where you connected with it there. Mantuka, it is your turn again as Gregory is still just behind the shield, kind of like you see the young pair of eyes and kind of curly, matted blonde hair just kind of poking up above the shield. What are you gonna do?
You see like Mantuka kind of square off. I'm going to use non-lethal, but I'm going to stare at him and laugh, and I'm going to bonus action rage as I maniacally laugh, and I'm going to make a fucking you know what, a halberd attack at this mother effer.
You're gonna halberd the wizard? Okay.
I'm using blunting it. Like
Yeah. It's a 23 to
Give him the
hit.
bonks.
I'm gonna say that definitely hits Gregory.
Sweet. So I'll roll some damage just for
Yeah,
gigs.
yeah, go ahead.
So that's 15.
15 points of bludgeoning damage, Gregory, as you see Mantuka step forward with the halberd, and you're like genuinely worried for a second that he's gonna hit you with that axe head. But as he steps forward, he just swings the butt end up, getting around your shield and just clocking you right in the jaw. You see stars, a little flash as the butt of this weapon makes contact with your face, and you kind of regain consciousness a little bit, having taken an extremely devastating hit. It is on.
Yes.
I'm
Okay.
sure Mr. Maker
So that
and I
was-
are both like, ooh.
Yeah, no.
Okay. So that was attack 1.
Oh.
Oh my, you're going that. Okay, we're going that hard, dude.
So
Oh,
I'm gonna
Jesus.
say I'm gonna say before my next attack, like, yield, and it'll be done.
No. I need this. I just
Cool.
put the shield back up.
18.
Yeah, that hits.
Cool. Let's take it. Oh yeah. 11 plus 2. Sorry, I'm raging. So that's 13 damage, and I had 2 more in the last one. I can't remember.
So you take a total of 30 damage in a single round. You still up?
Oh yeah.
And with that, I'm just like, I've got my 10 feet of distance, and I'm just sitting there like in my like minotaur.
Oh yeah,
like,
he hit you from 10 feet
blast.
away too, right?
Oh yeah.
Well,
Oh yeah.
yeah. I was gonna say you got close enough to punch him in the face, though.
Yeah, attack of opportunity. If I
Step
disengage
back.
with them if
Yeah,
you want.
it's up to you. I
Or
mean,
whenever you want, brother.
I'm good either way. If you want to move into the 10-foot range, you would take an attack of opportunity because you did
Yeah,
say you
for
punched
sure.
him, which is a 5-foot. So if you want to take an attack of opportunity at the
Come on,
start
baby,
of this,
Gregory.
so
Throw your
Gregory,
whip
as
up
the
and at
fist
me.
hits your shield, Mantuka steps out of your range to swing these attacks at you. You do get an attack of opportunity if you want.
Okay, yeah, I'll do it.
One melee
Do you
attack.
have Warcaster?
No.
You shut your whorish mouth.
All I have is a simple dagger.
Oh my god.
Let's see if that does.
Mouth is not a horror. Other parts of me maybe, but not my
Yeah.
mouth.
18. I believe that hits Mantuka, who does not have armor.
Huh.
My AC's 15. Like, yeah, you hit. Yeah.
You take 5 points as you punch the shield and step back to ready your halberd to beat this kid half to death. He just quickly jabs out with this little dagger that was given to him by his former mentor, actually, right? So +1 dagger too. And he just kind of like shivs you right in the kidney real quick. And like you weren't expecting to take that hit. That was before you raged too, so that's full damage. You just look down, and where there was once one trail of blood coming from your pin, there is now a second trail of blood coming from your stomach. And then at the start of your turn, you rage, and all of your attacks happen. Which brings it to Gregory's turn now. What would you like to do, my friend?
Baby Gregory.
Okay.
Yeah, at
This
this
is what I
point, you
want.
see Gregory's like there's a welt, just a
Yeah.
huge red welt forming on his face.
Talking at the.
Yeah, no, like,
This is why I wanted to do this. I gotta test this out. And so I just go into the cloak and just slap on the white bone mask, and really quickly this time. A little less like screaming this time. You still hear some grunting, but there's still all the snapping and
yeah,
blood.
it's a very little. It's much more quick transformation at this point.
and I'm gonna turn into the black bear y'all saw last night.
Hey, hell yeah. All right, so as Gregory just slaps this mask on his face with these strange kind of druidic fey markings on them, and you see his bones and muscles just start to alter and change, and next thing you look at where this small 16-year-old, essentially nerd, was standing, there is now a sizable black bear with its fangs bared and its claws ready to go. What would you like to do with the rest of your turn?
I bare my teeth.
Yeah, I guess it was an action to transform because you're not Circle of the Moon, right? Fair enough. Okay, so Mantuka, where the little boy or the young boy once stood, there is now a large black bear. What would you like to do?
I want to smash him with my halberd.
Smash with the halberd. All right, go ahead.
Again, doing non-lethal.
Okay,
or as
totally
non-lethal as this will start with. We'll see how it ends. So bam. Jesus, there we go. 24.
Oh, yeah.
Hits your amazing bear form as I kind of like two hands slice across you, just see where you react. 14 plus 2, so that's 16 slashing damage. Well, sorry, non-lethal damage.
You're taking 16 points as like you're standing there baring your teeth, your claws just digging into the ground. You feel the kind of the gravel under your paws, and as you're kind of just acclimating to the fact you are now a bear for the first time since you ever became a druid, you see the halberd. Second time. You see the butt end of the halberd just whoop, bop, right across the bear, like right on the side of the face. Same place where the welt already was. It is gone now, but like you slowly feel another one beginning to form as the halberd just connects with your face again. And I believe there's another attack coming your way, if I'm not mistaken.
There is. Between attacks, I'm still gonna say yield. I don't know if he can understand me or not. I can't take an action to communicate with him, so I'm just going to do the same command. If I see him be submissive, then I won't make it. But I assume Ryan's not being submissive, and I'm gonna thunder fuck him.
Ryan never submissive. All right, Go ahead and hit the halberd.
What's up, boy?
Go thunder fuck him.
Oh, God damn it, dude.
Damn
13.
it!
13 hits the bear, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Bears do not have armor.
12.
You take 12 points of bludgeoning damage. At this point, like, Mantuka's just standing 10 feet away from you, almost holding the halberd backwards. Like, he has the axe haft in his hand, and he's just bopping you in the fucking head with the butt end of his halberd. There's a smile on his face that goes, ear to ear. He is in his element at this point. He's not raging in anger, he's raging in pure joy.
Lust.
Yeah, no, there's like straight up battle lust in his eyes, and he just beats you the fuck down. But you're still a bear. It is your turn. You are within his 10-foot range. Oh shit, he beat the bear out of you?
After that second hit, you just see, you kind of like smack the bear head so hard that the whole face like slaps off and it hits the ground with a slump, but then it just kind of curls up into a white bone mass. And you look over at Gregory and he's just kind of there.
He's just kind of standing there, the red welt on his face, still present. Gregory, it's your turn, buddy.
Goes and picks up the mask and okay.
This is like the most wholesome PvP encounter I've ever had at one of my tables. I love this.
This is so fun.
Compared to the last few, at least.
The last few. I feel like me and Peter, at least once in every game that we play, we have to have one of
Totally acceptable if all parties are on board and okay with it. I do not mind PvP in my games.
It's how we
This
show
is
our
our
love.
first
This is your love.
PvP.
Abuse is your love language? That's fucked
Pretty
up.
sure Rocco and Starek.
That's fucked up, guys.
No, because you're always dead.
It's a little messed up.
Violence is my love language.
Violence is my love language. I'm gonna go ahead and I was trying to do this in a physical. I was trying to show my. I'm like getting all like teary.
A little flustered, like there's the pubescent frustration is ever present.
Just like you don't understand, Mom. This is not a phase. And I reach my whole hand into the box and I pull out the little guy in the pink chair. He's a little smaller this time, in a little gray blob, and I just throw him up. I'm gonna cast Magic Missile at level 4.
Oh fuck! Yeah, bitch. All right. I should have put the battle music on for this. This works. That's fine. All right. So those are all gonna auto hit because it's magic missiles. So Mantuka, as you're standing there, you got your 10-foot range. You just smacked the B shape out of this kid, like straight up. He puts the mask back in his jacket and just immediately casts this spell, and you see as like just a torrent of these arcane missiles fly straight at you. Oh, fuck. That's not bad. 2, 6, 10, 12, 16, 20. Nope, 18. My bad. Right? Nope. I read the 4th level instead of the 5.
But
God.
Whoa, how much damage?
12, 5, 17, 19 total.
19.
So you take 19
so half of
points of
19.
force damage as
Oh,
these...
it's
yeah.
no, I'll take half of that. I'm raging.
You are, it's force
Psychic.
damage. Oh.
Psychic
Are
is the
you-
only damage.
Oh, you're a bear
Yeah.
totem.
Yeah.
Oh,
Get wrecked,
Mhm.
bitches.
Okay, so you take
Okay.
half of 19, which we round up, so we'll say is 9. No, 10?
10.
10. You take 10 points of damage. As this, like every single one of these kind of twirling, twisting missiles just begin hitting you like poof, 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 poof. Very Tropic Thunder when Ben Stiller's
Tony.
like getting lit up
Oh, yeah.
from behind kind of thing. And you like it kind of throws you around a little bit. It kind of surprises you. Gregory came at you a little harder than you were expecting him to be able to, and you shake it off and you just begin staring down this kid. You got an actual fight on your hands now. Gregory, I believe that's your turn.
yes.
All right. So now there is this just small 16-year-old boy standing in front of you with a giant welt on his face and a mix of fear and determination in his eyes.
How far is Gregory from me?
Still 10 feet.
10 feet. Do I have any movement to back up a bit myself?
Yeah, you have your. It's a combat round. You have your full range of
alright,
whatever you
perfect.
guys want to do, man.
I just wanted to make sure, like, setting-wise, there's room for me to maneuver. So I'm going to back up 20 feet. And,
Okay, let's do 30 feet away.
Yeah, and then I think Gregory needs to be taught a lesson. So I think I'm going to gore rush him. So I'm going to take the dash action and hammer him with my horns. And
Okay.
he's going to make a strength saving throw of a DC 15 or be pushed 10 feet away from me.
Oh, I'm not
Okay.
good at those.
That's okay. It's not actually going to do damage, right? I mean,
No.
yeah, so it's just.
I'm gonna purposefully slide to within 10 feet of him for this, so he gets +4 to his save.
I made it.
Yeah, so with the +4, you get a 17 on your strength save. Gregory, you see this angry minotaur just rushing towards you, horns bared,
No,
ready to go. And as it like is coming, Stanislav just kind of steps a little closer. You feel a little more confident, like his pure self-belief is rubbing off on you a little. And you grab Mantuka by the horns and just slowly slide backwards, holding them. And manage to avoid being gored on this Minotaur's horns. Oh god, I'm so
And
happy.
that would be my attack
Yeah.
because the dash would be. So
Yep.
it's both my attacks.
I'm allowing it because it was cool. Yep, you're good. It's yeah, that's your turn though. So Gregory, you're now just holding these massive pair of Minotaur horns face to face. Mantuka's kind of like breathing out of his nose straight into your face. It's hot.
I'm snorting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just like, with some impressive speed, I'll say I'm a pretty dexterous young fella. I just go open the box, and you see just a single face cloth just come up and just land on Mantuka's nose, and then another one, and then another one, and then from it you see just a tiny little like ghost-looking little figure. Kind of looks like this. This little guy.
It's a tissue
Yeah.
ghost.
He's a little tissue ghost, just little blues and pinks and greens. He's real cute, and he just kind of like comes up off your nose, Mantuka, and then I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds on Mantuka.
Oh.
Level 4.
Oh.
Level 4
Okay.
Cure Wounds, and I'm gonna just start to cry. You just see Gregory just start to like tears just streaming, and he's just gonna say, "I didn't mean for any of this damage. I don't want to just. I respect you so much."
As he's kind of holding onto your horn still as this creature is like now floating in front of you, you feel the magic cast over you, and this tissue kind of just like straight up like wipes some of the blood dripping down your chest off.
Whoa!
And you heal for 30 points as you feel the vitality rush back into you as whatever wounds you did have close, and you notice the trickle of blood from your pin has now stopped as that wound has healed as well. There's still a pin jabbed into your torso, but it is no longer bleeding actively. And you see this boy just holding onto your horns, crying. It's like getting a little snotty. It's like a very ugly cry. It's pretty rough. He seems to be apologizing for instigating this fight. How does Mantuka handle this?
Stupid. I'm so stupid.
So I'm like snorting, and I'm trying to like bring myself out of my rage, and I look down, and I feel like the invigoration of the healing. And I look down, and I notice my blood wings aren't bleeding anymore, and I'm like, stupid magic, and I just slam them in my chest again to make myself continually bleed a little bit more. And then
The blood
I just
begins. Gregory, you watch as Mantuka just slaps his torso, and you see a little trickle of blood come out from under the badge again.
And then I kind of just toss Gregory to the side. And I just kind of like go like sulk and kind of like come out of my my rage-induced state of like I want to smash everything that moves.
Yeah, so as Gregory is holding onto your horns, you stand, and he's kind of like dangling there for a second, his feet off the ground. You kind of just like give him a shake off a little. He kind of just like ends up 5 feet to the side on his feet, kind of standing there as you kind of like feel the rage dissipate. You kind of like, it's kind of like that thing where you kind of got like, it's in you're ready for a fight, and you kind of got to shake it off a little, like you're trying to get that adrenaline to pass, because like you were about ready to smack the shit out of this kid. Like you would have kept this fight going but you offered him a chance to surrender, and it seems like he took it. So you kind of just like give yourself a little shake and shake off the testosterone buildup from the day. And you are left standing there as Gregory is standing, hands at his sides now, still weeping, little trickle of snot kind of hanging out of the nose.
I'm gonna go over to Gregory. Just kind of like,
Give me your dagger.
Okay. I give him the dagger.
And then I just like yeet it, like, because it's the only thing that hurt me other than bear force. I'm like, stupid dagger. I just yeet it.
Wait, no, he kind of.
Better when he's animal. When he's not.
Yeah, so as you're standing there, you pulled out the dagger to Mantuka, and the weapon that was given to you by like the only mentor you've had in your time out here, apart from Stanislav and now Mantuka, who's just beating you, I guess. He just throws the one keepsake you have from someone who's not just your like actual family, like the first friend you made on this trip, and he just yeets it away into an alley somewhere.
Play stupid games, get stupid prizes.
In Gregory's head, anything that Mantuka would do like that is got to be like a learning lesson. So he's just kind of like, he's still sniffling. Like, thank you.
No, wait a minute. Come on, let's. And I'm gonna like get you up. And I'm also, as I'm doing that, I'm gonna do lay on hands for all of your HP.
Yeah.
However much it is.
So Gregory, as you kind of like suck it in the last little bit, and you kind of like walk into the alley and put your head down a little, and you're trying to keep a tough exterior, but like you're still essentially a child at heart.
Why am I the
Stanislav,
bad guy?
You're not.
Why
You're
am
not.
I
No,
the
I'm just.
bad
This is
guy?
how Gregory is reacting.
not.
You beat down
Gotta
a snotty
fucking
kid.
learn.
That was hilarious. I love
Oh.
that. I loved every second of
Greg
it.
got a little too big for his britches.
Yeah, just a little.
Killed a couple zombies. Thought he was
But a
the
little
shit.
confident.
And Stanislav did also laugh when baby Gregory got smacked in the face. It was.
Oh yeah, it was funny as hell.
It was good.
So
I'm
as
gonna
you're kind of
cast
walking
Detect
down the
Magic
alley, yeah,
as well.
Stanislav just comes up and gives you like a pat on the back and kind of like reassures you a bit, and you feel as he does like
Thanks, Dan.
the welt on your face begins to stop stinging, and the swelling goes down. There's still like a straight up red mark that going from like your chin up to your ear at that point, but the pain seems to subside.
Yeah.
And you
How
do
much lay on hands do I use to get you back to full?
You would need to do roughly, I think it was like 35, 40.
You
Like-
beat his ass, dude. I love it.
It was
I fucking
37.
love it. Don't pick a fight with a
Okay.
Minotaur. There's a very easy lesson
Yeah, all
learned
of
in
that.
this whole
You get all of that
situation.
back.
Bless your heart.
And
Huh.
yeah, I'll say you don't even have to worry about the casting on detect magic for the dagger or anything. Like, it only takes you a minute or two of searching. I don't think Mantuka like intended to throw it over the wall. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Threw it to the
How
moon,
did you
Alice.
No.
You know what? Roll me a d20.
I'm just joking. I
Okay.
I don't care. I just need.
You just
I
like
was
tossed it
teaching
into
him
the
a
okay,
lesson.
cool. So you just
Pitch.
toss it, and it takes a little bit to find, but you manage to track it down in what appears to be someone's kind of backyard-ish area, kind of just chilling, like stuck in the ground a little bit. You do manage to find it without any issue, and like the tears begin to subside, and you realize maybe you bit off a little more than you could chew.
I think at the end of the day, that was a learning lesson, and I learned a lot. And I'm going to
Don't
continue to
pick-
learn.
Don't ever pick a fight with a Minotaur.
That's exactly right. I'm going to get that tattooed across my chest.
At that point, Mr. Maker
Not a bad
immediately
idea.
pops up. You know, I have just the thing for that. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session. Because I don't want to go into like the next phase without Mr. Maker
Yeah.
actually being there, because Hellscorp deserves to play his character. So we're going to end things there before we like move on and proceed with the next leg of this journey. Having picked up a quest from the temple to deal with some undead problems, received a little bit of reward for your efforts in saving some people, as well as a bit of a station in a new society and a little headquarters in the form of a
Society?
dilapidated farmhouse.
A society that doesn't want to enslave me, which I'm all for.
All
Real
for.
nice.
All right.
Real great.
So I want to thank everyone for coming by, hanging out. Boofa Guy, thank you for hanging out like the entire stream. You were like one of the first people in here. I appreciate every single one of you. Scorpion, Sabro with the biddies, Stace with the raid, same with Anubis. Y'all the best. We will
Love
be back
you.
in 2 weeks, as we're doing one game every 2 weeks for the time being while work schedules get worked out. Gonna be trying to figure something out to fill those Monday slots. It's either gonna be some more gaming content, RPG style, or I'm kind of tiptoeing around the idea of starting a second campaign. But I don't know if I want to do that yet. So we're gonna discuss and figure things out amongst the group of us. In the meantime, I will not be doing Dark Souls tomorrow because I gotta get my bearded dragon into the vet. She does seem to be doing better, so that's good. I will be back on Wednesday probably for some more Far Cry 6, I'm guessing. In the meantime, be good to each other. We have been the Cross Country Compatriots, and yeah, we'll see you next time. We're going to find someone in the community to raid out on while we're at the outro screen here. Please do stick around. We're going to send it over to someone else in the D&D community. Just got to find who's doing what. See you guys next time. Peace.